Welcome to the third annual Spark and Inspire, hosted by Teach for America Hawaii and Hawaii Kids Can. We are excited to be here with you folks. We are live from the island of Hawaii in Keauhou, and I am stoked to be part of this event. My name is Karina Hernandez, and I'm with
Kevin Argueta. Hello, folks. Along with Karina and Juan Espinal, we make up the Maestro's Vibe team, an educational podcast, and your MCs for tonight.
I can't believe this is the third annual event. I remember when we were preparing and gearing up to present our pitch at the Capitol at the first ever Spark and Inspire.
Yeah, that day was truly amazing. Not only did it get us the funding that helped us launch our work, but it also helped us find our first listeners that are still following us in our podcast journey.
Although we aren't together in person, I am excited to build community this evening and strengthen our collective impact in education.
As we do in our work, we are excited to highlight 3 amazing projects tonight that will showcase personal stories and innovation that will surely leave an impact.
Not only are we going to hear from 2 amazing educators in Natalie Lalagos and Wes Adkins, but we're about to witness history with the first ever student-led project being shared at a Spark and Inspire event with Marissa Halagao. The 3 projects are based on community needs and take a look at solutions that will benefit students and families.
From innovating translation services and how they are provided, to reimagining and developing curriculum that honors the diversity in stories, to providing new opportunities in the arts, these projects and edupreneurs are grounded in community and place.
You will be able to hear their innovative pitches during the Zoom webinar and have the opportunity to engage with them and others when we transition to our interactive gather space. This virtual space is innovating the way folks can interact across the islands and across the world.
You're right about that. In this space, you will select a character that will represent you on the platform. It reminds me of my younger days when I played Zelda. From there, you will be able to explore the space that will include a main stage and 3 rooms that will contain our respective presenters and projects.
Sounds super fun. And tonight wouldn't be possible without the efforts from our sponsors. Hawaii Telcom, Student Corner, Wahine Coder, AT&T, and the City and County of Honolulu.
This evening, we will get a chance to become co-conspirators and dream alongside our presenters. We hope that it is an evening of inspiration, collaboration, networking, and creating. To kick us off in that vision, please give it up for Jill Baltimore, Executive Director of Teach for America Hawaii, and David Miyashiro, Executive Director of Hawaii Kids Can.
Aloha mai kako and welcome to Spark and Inspire. Friends, family, colleagues here in Hawaii and across the country, we are excited to have you join us for a celebration of innovation in education. After a year like we've had, we could all use a little celebration.
There's no doubt that the past year has been challenging for many, especially kids and families. Our local and global education systems were forced to adapt on the fly, and the inequities in our broader communities have never been clearer. Overnight, Hawaii went from a state with a 2% unemployment rate to 1 in 4 people being out of work, and kids absolutely felt the stress of economic, educational, and health uncertainty.
But where there is challenge, we know there is opportunity. And there have been so many bright spots this year where Hawaii students, educators, and community members have stepped up and dreamed big.
As just one example, Hawaii Kids Can and Teach for America Hawaii were proud to team up with TFA alums Sarah Milianta-Laffin and Bill Chen to launch a Wi-Fi on Wheels hub in Kona to support kids without home internet. This mobile hub has provided service to approximately 160 students from Kahakai Elementary and other local schools on a regular basis at nearby housing complexes. And Hawaii County built on this model to deploy an additional 16 mobile internet hubs across Hawaii Island using federal CARES Act funds.
That's amazing. What we have seen time and again throughout this pandemic is when we come together as a community, when we look forward and ask, how might we? When we take risks and try on new ideas, we can solve big problems and do hard things. This gives us hope for what's possible in education.
At Hawaii Kids Can, we advocate for a more innovative and equitable education system through policy, community organizing, and research. Our work includes our youth advocacy programs, which empower students to speak out for real policy change in education. This year, we teamed up with Seeds of Peace and PAC to form Youth Action Alliance Hawaii to ensure that even more students could participate in project-based advocacy and leadership programming. We also recently helped to pass legislation that will improve computer science and career readiness opportunities for all kids and greater digital equity for communities.
At Teach for America, we focus on developing innovative, equity-oriented, socially active leaders who contribute to systems change. We seek to equip and empower our young people to co-create a future filled with possibility. This means we care about the foundations like reading and mathematics, and we care about strengthening their future-focused competencies and their ability to be ideators and creators, communicators and collaborators, and strategic and ethical decision makers. We care about supporting classroom teaching, and we care about activating a network of people who will impact educational equity from all sectors within and outside of school systems.
So clearly, both of our organizations share a vision of all students having access to a high-quality education that opens doors of opportunity.
Together, our joint hope for Spark and Inspire is to shine a light on the innovative work that is happening in our schools and to spark and inspire new ideas and innovations that will further enrich opportunities for our keiki.
So, if you've joined us for a previous Spark Inspire, you know you're about to meet three amazing edupreneurs. That's our word for educator plus entrepreneur. These talented individuals are true ambassadors of innovation and optimism across their school campuses and our entire local education ecosystem.
Celebrating edupreneurs remains the heart of Spark and Inspire. But as we've done every year for the past 3 years, we are changing things up, leaning into the very values of Spark and Inspire, innovation, agility, and collective community. Tonight, Spark and Inspire will invite you, our audience, to interact and engage alongside us.
In just a few minutes, we'll be going live to 3 different locations across the state to meet our edupreneurs. One of the benefits of being virtual is we can connect across islands and states. I think I saw somebody earlier chime in from Nevada. So if you haven't had a chance yet, don't forget to share your name, role or affiliation, and what town or city you're joining us from in the chat.
After we get a chance to meet our edupreneurs, we'll give you more instructions on how to join us in GatherTown, a super fun, interactive platform that feels a little like a video game and a little like an in-person festival. You'll get to meet, mingle, and catch up with our edupreneurs and each other. You don't want to miss it.
Finally, we want to send a big mahalo to a few of the people who have made tonight possible, starting with our awesome MCs for the evening, Kevin and Karina, 2 of the 3 partners of Maestro's Vibe.
And that third Maestro's Vibe partner, Juan Espinal, is also here tonight as one of our room hosts over in Kona. We want to send a big mahalo to all of our room hosts and fellow Teach for America alums, Juan, Dr. Robin Vieira, and Henry Meltzer.
We also wanted to recognize the elected leaders who are planning on joining us tonight. So Senator Benet Misalucha, Representative Della Albalati, and Representative John Mizuno.
We are grateful for the support of our school partners who are nurturing those edupreneurs, helping us host school sites tonight, and on top of all of that, just do amazing things for our keiki every day. Principal John Henry Lee at Campbell High School.
President Mike Latham at Punahou School.
Principals Jim DeKnight and Glenn Gray from Kealakehe High School.
And Principal Janice Blaber at Kealakehe Intermediate School.
We'll also be treated tonight to the incredible filmmaking of Leah Lucine Carey. Mahalo, Leah, for your beautifully capturing of our edupreneurs and their stories.
So we want to mahalo our sponsors of tonight's event for their support in helping to make tonight possible. To those of you who bought $20 and $100 tickets, Thank you so much for your support. We also want to especially recognize Hawaiian Telecom,
the City and County of Honolulu,
AT&T,
Wahine Coder,
and Student Corner.
Last but certainly not least, mahalo to all of you for being here tonight, for joining us. It's going to be a wonderful evening. Kevin and Karina, back to you.
Mahalo nui, Brandon. Thanks for all your leadership.
Excited to pass it over to our Maestros Vibe partner, Juan, who is live at Kealakehe Intermediate School for our first project of the night.
Take it away, Juan.
Hey, aloha, and good to see everybody. Wow, this is an absolutely beautiful afternoon here at Kealakehe Intermediate. My name is Juan Espinal. Now, some of y'all may recognize my voice from, like they said, Hawaii's first education podcast, Maestros Vibe. You might also recognize my voice from just maybe teaching some of your local students over here and there. Most recently, I've been doing a lot of traffic work at my school, which has been extremely exciting. Or you might just recognize me from the ocean, which is actually my favorite place to be in the entire world. And if I couldn't be in the ocean right now, my second favorite place would be right here on this Zoom call with all of you. So thank you so stinking much for being here at Spark and Inspire. If we could just take one moment, take a deep breath and appreciate yourself. Like Mrs. Jill Baltimore said, we do want to shine our light here tonight. So just take a deep breath and appreciate yourself for being here. Yep, that's right. And here we are. You probably can already feel that energy. I'm on the cusp of Kona coffee country, home of the Hawks, Kealakehe Intermediate School itself. That's right. There's no school quite like it, overlooking that beautiful Kona coastline, home of a wonderfully renovated library. You might not be able to tell by these books behind me, but there is a whole bunch of innovation, renovation happening here right at our feet. Speaking of innovation, we have an innovative educator here for y'all today, working right here at our Kealakehe community, helping to innovate how we help our English language learners. I have the humble and honor of pleasure to introduce Natalie Lalagos and her work with English language learners. Please buckle up, sit up straight. We got an amazing video coming for you all, and I hope you enjoy it. I'll catch up with you afterwards.
My name's Natalie Lalagos. I teach here at Kealakehe High School. Also, I'm a huge, just language nerd. Growing up, my dad, he was bilingual, so he spoke Greek and English, and he would just speak Greek, and I'd have to, I'd sit there and I'd wait for him to translate something, and it's just fascinating to watch them. So why do I teach? Why do I do what I do? I had a rough adolescent experience outside of school, and I think if school hadn't been what it was, where it was people believed in me, people pushed me, I was challenged, right? If I hadn't had that, I don't know what I would have done. It's very likely I wouldn't be sitting here in this classroom if I hadn't have had that experience. And school gave me, and my education gave me the ability to decide what I wanted to do for my own future. That should be what everyone experiences. Unfortunately, there are a lot of things standing in a lot of people's way, most kids' way. I don't know that language has to be one of those things at our school right now.
Aloha everybody, I am currently a senior here at Kealakehe High School, and I was scared to go to school because of not knowing how to speak English properly.
Kealakehe High School is a big high school, a significant population of students who are learning English for the first time, whether that's their second, their third, or their fourth language. Those are our EL population, English learner population.
Ang tawag di 14 years old and nanggaling ako sa Pilipinas.
So I have moved here from the island of Tonga. Being a bilingual person, that Tongan was my first language and English was I was learning English.
I work with students for whom English is their second or sometimes third language. So we currently have 160 EL students. However, we have twice that amount almost of students who used to be, who have tested out. That's where multilingual students often get lost in the shuffle.
And everyone should be able to be here in this space, and it shouldn't matter if my first language isn't English, right? As a school community, we do not always have space that's super welcoming to kids who are still learning the language.
Some of the people that I met, I feel I'm not welcome here.
It's not always about what's going on in the classrooms, but it's about our wider community and whether or not that's linguistically welcoming to our students.
If we had materials translated and ready to go in their home languages, and there are many, it will open the door of understanding and ways to support their students through school.
In Tongan, sometimes it's easier for my parents to log into infant campus through the Tongan language because that is the way they understand. Yes, they know English, but not very much of the English language.
I think having things in our own language, Marshallese, it's important because there's a lot of people that they will not read English.
So there's many students here with parents that really they can't understand English. So the students has to explain to them, what if that students really don't know how to speak in English in anyways?
A memory of sitting down with one of my Spanish-speaking students in my advisory and trying to explain how the grading system worked here. I realized that this student had no idea what I was talking about. And that's because all of that information is communicated in English. And I realized it didn't have to be that way, right? Because I could sit there and I could explain it to the student in their language, and I could say, here's how this all works. And that gave the student a sense of power and how to navigate everything. But it seems silly for that kind of information to be almost like proprietary. You should be able to walk through your school community and understand what's going on. And it shouldn't have to be obstacle after obstacle after obstacle to just try to join a sports team or to go to prom, right? It shouldn't be that difficult. And when we miss those things, we miss the opportunity for them to feel like they are part of our community. We have everything we need right here to make our school more linguistically welcoming. Our students can be the ones to translate non-confidential materials for our campus. Things like signing up for prom and driver's ed and how to navigate Infinite Campus. These are things that our students can translate right now to make our school more welcoming to the wider community. Multilingual Student Translators intends to hire students and train them in the skills of translation so that they are confident in the work that they're doing and that they also have experience they can take forward into their futures. Our school really would benefit from that in many ways. We would benefit from it because obviously we'd have materials translated into multiple languages, which would invite more people into our community. And not just students, but invite our larger community into our school.
This opens a door for that communication, for giving a voice to a population that doesn't necessarily have one. Give them a voice and they will speak.
I think a lot of people see students who don't speak English well or proficiently as a problem, but they're not a problem at all. Being bilingual or multilingual is an incredible asset. And so if we can have our students doing that here on our campus, I think it elevates and demonstrates for everyone that this is something to be valued and is important. And our kids can totally do this. We just have to set up the system to make it not a one-off experience, but a norm at our school. The system needs to exist, the program needs to exist. And once it exists, you don't ever have to know my name again.
Wow. Chicken skin, you heard the audience. You heard that round of applause that we got from our computer system. You see us over there. We're losing our cookies over here. That was an amazing presentation. Eso es mi cultura. That's my story you're speaking to right there. And I just wanted to, now I know I'm only one voice speaking on behalf of all these hundreds of people watching right now. But Natalie, as the person who's honored to be here, if there's anyone even partly as moved as I am, is there any way you can share with us more and more how we can help with multilingual student translators?
Thanks, Juan. I'd be happy to do that. This is an opportunity. It's not a problem. It's an opportunity for our students to use their native language, grow in translation skills, and for all of us to recognize the power and value of multilingualism. And for our wider community, it is an opportunity for us to make our school a more welcoming and navigable place. We need your help so that we can be inclusive of all the voices of our community. This program, Multilingual Student Translators, has the potential to be scalable and sustainable. Kealakehe High School is not unique in its need to be more linguistically welcoming. This program could be replicated at schools across the state. It also has the potential to be self-sustaining. In the coming year, after our students begin translating materials for our campus, our hope is to have local nonprofits and businesses contract our students so that they can translate materials for their organizations. This has two benefits. First, our students will gain valuable work experience. And second, the revenue generated through those partnerships can lead our program to being self-sustainable. We already have projects identified, potential students. We have training in the works for the fall, and students may be able to receive credit towards graduation for their participation in the program. We need your help to make multilingual communication the norm at our school, and you can help us in two ways. First, we need help in building our revenue model. We need to understand our costs and pricing and how much we can charge our clients. This will help us understand our potential for sustainability and how much we can pay our students. And we must pay them a good wage. Whatever we pay them is a direct reflection of how we value multilingualism. While we already have a $2,500 grant secured for initial training, the second way you can help us is through additional funding. We need additional funding so that we can pay our students to translate the backlog of projects that we have right now. This will, of course, immediately help our school. It will give kids valuable experience, and it will allow them to create a portfolio of work that they can then use to recruit future clients. I look forward to talking with you all in the Gather town after this. I'm excited to talk about how we can make Kealakehe High School a more welcoming and navigable place. Our kids can do this. They can be the ones to change our school so that we are inclusive of all the voices of our community. Thank you.
You hear that, audience praise again. Natalie, thank you so much for sharing that with us. A scalable idea that's self-sustaining with a backlog of work that's already available. Come on, that is amazing. You better believe I'm going to be in that Gather town at the end of this Spark and Inspire. Speaking of the rest of this Spark and Inspire, it's been a huge honor to be here. I'm going to pass it on over across a few islands. Robin with Teach for America. Ahui ho.
I am so excited about Marissa and her team's work, and I know you will be too. She's collaborated with students and adults from Kapolei, Waipahu, Carrington, and Punahou School, along with amazing organizations, Hawaii Kids Can and Teach for America. Let's jump in now.
Hi, my name is Marissa Halagao, and I'm a sophomore at Punahou School. and I'm full Filipina, and I live here on Oahu. And I'm a writer, an artist, a piano player, a hula dancer, a sister, a friend, and a daughter. Oh my God. Don't get me started on colonial mentality. My mom has definitely influenced me. She's always taught me to question the systems put in place, especially in education and curriculum and representation as well. I think it's because of her and my dad's experience as kids. They were both immigrants from the Philippines. They actually were encouraged not to speak Tagalog or Ilocano. To me, that's really degrading to tell someone that their language and their culture isn't worthy to be fostered. And because of that, my parents did not want that for their kids as well. All sophomores at Punahou are required to take the Asian history class. But the thing is, when I was looking at the course catalog, I saw that the first semester is required, and that was only focused on China and Japan. But I was wondering where the Philippines, because Filipinos are actually the largest Asian ethnic group in the state here in Hawaii. After I realized that the Philippines weren't really represented at all, my mom was with me when I was realizing this, and she was like, well, Marissa, why do you think that China and Japan are the ones that are focused on in the first semester? And that really got me thinking of, there is a hierarchy within Asian countries. It's written plainly in the curriculum. It was kind of painful to see that. The curriculum should reflect the diversity of the community. Representation is really important, especially for kids, to see themselves being represented in whether that be education or the media or television or literature. And people don't realize this, but after so long of not really seeing yourself being represented, and then you finally do, it's the best feeling, because I grew up reading a lot and I never saw Filipino characters. Last year, my mom actually gave me this book called When the Elephants Dance. Seeing these characters and hearing them speak Tagalog and seeing the word Filipino on a page and seeing how strong these characters were, it was such an unforgettable thing to read, and that's now my favorite book. Because after so long of not even seeing myself being represented in literature, when I finally did, it made me feel so proud. I actually got in touch with some other teachers who were planning to create a new Asian Studies course. And I asked them if I can help them create the course and be in charge of writing a Filipino unit. I explained to them why this was so important to me and how Filipino representation should not be overlooked as much as it is, and how we deserve to have the light in education. They were completely on board, and we're planning on actually creating the course so that it can be offered next school year, and it will have a Filipino unit that I will help create. I realized that it actually is important to not only be offering this course at Punahou, but also public schools across Hawaii. I also knew that I didn't want to just hand the curriculum that I was creating at Punahou to public schools, and I knew I wanted to collaborate with students from public schools that were Filipino too and create a curriculum that would be specific to their needs and getting their perspectives. So that was when I got in touch with a lot of the collaborators that I am working with right now, Raymart and Jalen and Caitlin and Kylie. I realized that I kind of wanted to start from scratch with them because they all have so many great ideas. They're all very smart and intellectual.
That's pretty unfair for people living in certain areas that don't have education on like their history and their culture.
It was it's gonna like reduce like the violence, because
then that's gonna promote like cultural relativism and connections.
To learn about the history, unlike how we didn't get the chance to do so.
I think that I just want to be like seen, like I want to share like a part of me, and
even if it's not their own, because then they'll be able to understand people from different backgrounds. And I feel like that can lead to something.
Teaching them like about our culture, our roots, our stories.
Because it shows like how passionate we are in this project, and it shows like how much we can do as students.
There's a purpose for this. Maybe we could end racism finally.
We're gonna have 3 primary units: culture and connections, historical context, and Filipinos in Hawaii. History has a lot of potential to be approached in an interactive way and a student discussion-based way, but also that is influential. My dream is that my brother, he's in 8th grade now and will be going into high school next year, he will have the education and that representation that I never got. And I want him to see himself and feel worthy in himself and feel celebrated by school and by the systems put in place. Whether you're Filipino or not, just to learn about the community that we do live in, and to feel worthy in yourself and your identity and your history and your culture, that's all I can really ask for.
One of the center directors at Punahou School, I can't tell you how proud of her we are. So let me introduce you to the real Marissa Halagao.
Thank you, Dr. Vera. We pride ourselves so much in Hawaii for being so diverse. But if we don't embrace inclusivity or multiculturalism, then what's the point? Kumusta kayo, everyone? I'm Marissa, and I'm a sophomore at Punahou School. And today, I'm here to talk about how you can help Hawaii schools be more inclusive and empowering for Filipino students. Filipinos make up more than 25% of the population here in Hawaii. We are the largest Asian ethnic group in the state and the largest non-white ethnic group in the state. Filipinos also make up around 23% of Hawaii's public school population. Yet we are not being represented in the curriculum that we're learning. Filipino students like me and the team that I'm working with want our history and culture to be seen and celebrated by our schools. Can you imagine the possibilities for student empowerment and investment when our curriculum finally reflects our identities? The past few weeks, I've been working with a team of student collaborators from public schools. Raymart and Kelly from Waipahu, Kaylin from Kapolei, and John from Farrington. We're working together to develop a curriculum that addresses our needs for representation. Our Filipino curriculum will help students like us feel seen and worthy in our backgrounds and identities, and help non-Filipino students learn about and connect to a large part of our community. In our curriculum, it will cover topics about the Philippines that interest us, but those that we never got to learn about in schools, while also making sure that it aligns to DOE standards. It's really been a valuable experience to work with students who share the same experience as me of being Filipino, but not feeling represented. Our shared culture and passion for this has been a way for us to bond with one another as we come together to address this inequity. Now, we need you to help us bring to light the invisibility of our history and culture in education. There are 3 ways that you can help make Filipino representation a reality. First, if you're a public school teacher or principal, partner with us to pilot test this curriculum out in your school next school year or next summer. We're looking for at least 2 schools willing to partner with us and teachers willing to teach it. Second, help us navigate the approval process in the DOE to implement this curriculum into schools in the future. And third, provide funding in order to support the pilot testing. This includes stipends for teachers and resources. Right now, my team and I are in the beginnings of the curriculum development process. We've been receiving guidance from our teacher mentors and members from Spark and Inspire. We know that we'll need resources, but we don't know exactly how much we'll need yet, but we are wanting to connect with partners who are willing to have this conversation with us. This is an opportunity to empower Filipino students and embrace the diversity of our community. I hope that you will join us in the gather room as we come together to make this change. Salamat po. Thank you.
Pretty incredible young lady, right? So now let's jump to James Campbell High School for our last and final presentation for Spark Inspire this year.
We're on. Marissa, what you're doing is amazing. We're on? Perfect. Marissa, what you're doing is amazing for all students across the state, and it's super impressive what you're doing at age. Welcome to Campbell. We're based out of Ewa Beach on Oahu. I have the pleasure of introducing a great colleague and friend. What he's doing is really amazing, and with our academy structure, it's going to be so cool to be so inclusive to so many students with so many different interests. Wes, what's up? What's happening?
Dear Mama, did you see it? Last night, we went from talking about the Bulls to getting in the ring with them. We showed our first picture at the Ewa Beach Drive-In. You always told me I would be successful no matter what I did. When the world threw me hurdles, you put me on your shoulders. They don't know how hard it was to get here, but you know it all. You always beat yourself up for the mistakes you made, but to be honest, I wish you were here to make all those mistakes again. They ask me who I am, why I'm doing this, and where I'm going. Let's tell them everything. Let's tell them about the offspring of parents on dope. Let's tell them about being born deaf in one ear. Let's tell them about walking to school in the rain, trash bags like ponchos, to a speech pathologist, because nobody understands what the hell I'm saying. Let's tell them about the uncontrollable asthma week after week in ER. I remember trying to pretend I was okay during an asthma attack because I didn't want to miss going to the movies. Let's tell them everything. Let's tell them about the car that hit me on my birthday, flying half a football field away, and the asphalt ripping my ear off. Let's tell them how I'm not supposed to be here. Let's tell them how we grew up sleeping head to toe, countless siblings and cousins in one bed, and you letting me sneak out the room to watch Nick at Night and Turner Classic Movies until 3 in the morning. Let's tell them how this fish in a tree could never measure up to what school said a student should be, and you wouldn't hear that. Let's tell them about the heart of a gold you made me promise to never lose. Let's tell them everything. Let's tell them how the single mother, trauma survivor, raised a man to live with conviction. Tell his genuine story, no cap. Let's tell them how I loved to learn, and that's all because of you. Let's tell them how a kid that couldn't read went from resource classes to college dorms. First in the family, all by chasing dreams. The cinema was the first place in life I ever got to feel intelligent. Now I'm building a cinema where no kid ever misses that feeling. This fish in a tree found water and swam the world, Mama. I wish I could have shown you ever. This place is special. I asked the universe to give me 3 things: a house by the beach, students to teach, and a story to tell. It listened and delivered me ever. When I got here, I knew immediately this was where I was meant to pour my love into. This was where my cinema under the stars was meant to be. I learned all about this HA framework thingy blowing up out here, and I bought in immediately. I'm making a movie theater, mama, and it's better than I ever imagined it could be, because I'm not doing it alone. I shared my baby with others, and she's not just going to be safe, she's going to thrive. My fear is someone else is supposed to be doing this. Someone way better than me, more skilled and capable of pulling off this endeavor, is supposed to be leading these teenagers, but they just got me. My fear is we're not gonna get where we're supposed to be because I don't lead them properly, because I don't hear them, I don't listen to them when they speak, because I'm not navigating the ship correctly and we run aground. But I don't let fear talk too long. Fear is the voice of accountability telling me I will answer for everything I put into this theater, and the proof will be in the pudding. Everything done to manifest this dream will be combed through and questioned. Strangely, that same fear puts a fire under me to bring my most selfless and thoughtful energy into every person and every component of this cinema. And these students give me a bottomless well of confidence that that fear in the back of my head itching ain't gonna get the best of me. Your boy did it, mama. Folks tell me I'm making you proud. Your boy is doing it. No more talking about the Bulls. We getting in the ring with them.
I gotta say, Wes, I'm sparked and inspired. That was beautiful. And I would love for you to tell us a little bit more about this.
Well, I'm an obvious mama's boy. Let me start off with a quote, and let's see if you can catch this quote. The quote goes, "Dear Red, if you're reading this, you've gotten out. And if you've come this far, maybe you're willing to come a little further." Anybody know it? Kathy, you know this quote? Oh, I'm disappointed. Yeah. Ian, you know this quote. Who is this? Yeah. This is Shawshank Redemption, Annie Dufresne. One of the best movies ever. You can't click away from it. Well, I want to present the same thing to you today. I want to ask you, if you've watched our video, if you've come to this Spark and Inspire and you've made it this far, maybe you're willing to come a little bit further. Let me tell you about the Ever Beach Drive-In. Our mission is pretty clear. Watch movies, save the world. The Ever Beach Drive-In is a nonprofit cinema owned and operated by the youth, a venue where young entrepreneurs build agency in the community, creatively malama aina, and leave this world better than the way they got it. Our mission is to give youth work they love, resources to develop innovative ventures, and space to share passion for film. In everything we do, we hold to our core values. Gratitude. With gratitude, we master our energy. Culture, because representation matters. And sustainability, the catalyst of systemic change. So far, we've had 3 screenings, and they've all steadily been growing in audiences. The community has been very welcoming to us. It's clear to me, to the educators on campus, and to the students on campus, that this theater is special and is welcomed in the community. We have a lot of room to go still. I feel like this theater is a seed that's sprouted, and now we need soil, we need water, and we need sun. So let me push out a little bit and ask y'all to be our heroes. We're looking for people power. So If you'd like to join our website and get on the newsletter, spread the word and keep an eye out for when we open up to the public, then you're our hero. We're talking to you. If you're a student filmmaker and you have films to show, you want to get on the silver screen, holler at us. We want to put you on the silver screen as well. We want to build partnerships. So if you're a vendor or you have a product that you sell, come to us. Use our cinema as a venue for you to push your products. And hopefully they're focused on sustainability and the rest of our core values. Finally, what we really need for this cinema is autonomy. That means capital funds, of course, seed funds, but it also means other donations, goods and services. I know somebody watching me right now is a nonprofit guru, and you could be the hero for us. Just give us a call. I want to leave you with another quote before we get out of here. And this one, Kathy, you better know. It's a very simple quote. It goes, if you build it, they will come. If you build it, they will come. Field of Dreams, right?
Field of Dreams.
All right, good. We knew that one. I'm not disappointed then. I invite all of you, I implore you, please join us in our Gather Town. I could talk your ear off right now, but I'm not supposed to. But if you come to the Gather Town, I will talk your ear off and give you all the information you need. Thank you for your time. I'm so humble and grateful for having this platform tonight. And I look forward to talking to you further. Mahalo. That's good.
It felt good to hear. I have goosebumps. I didn't realize it could be even more inspired than I already was. We are so lucky to have you, Wes, and we're so lucky to have this new drive-in coming to us. And on behalf of the community, thank you so much for all you're doing. And how about the maestros wrap us up?
All right. Thank you so much, y'all, for everything that you've said and done today. We are more than inspired. And Wes, I, no lie, was shedding a tear. As a mama's boy, I truly felt your story. And with that, folks, we just want to say thanks to everyone. Thanks to all of the hosts and all of the presenters at the different sites. It has been truly remarkable work being shared here tonight.
Yes, we are inspired, and we hope you feel spark and inspired as well.